What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily right here at One True Sport. How's it going? Happy Friday. It's September 27th, 2024. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn from Brass Ring Media. What's going on? Glad to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in on Friday, and thanks for just a great week here at 1TS Daily. It's been a busy one with Grand Slam and the Vince documentary and just then all the regular stuff, all the regular shows, SmackDown and Raw and news and all that stuff. So fun week, busy week, but always glad to be here and glad to have you guys with me. If you're listening and watching on YouTube, hello. If you're on Twitter, what's going on? Welcome. If you guys don't mind, do me a quick favor and I'll pause so you don't miss any part of the show here, but go and hit like on this video if you can. Huge help for us. It means the world for you to do that, and so I thank you in advance for that. If you are in fact liking what you're hearing so far, thank you for that. We got a lot to get to today. We are going to talk a little bit of TNA at the top of the show here. We're going to talk some news, and then we're going to preview tonight's episode of SmackDown. So busy night. If before I get into that, let me take care of a little bit of business. This is the One True Sport YouTube channel. You probably know that already, but if you don't, welcome. We have all sorts of content that hits this channel throughout the week. You want to be around for it. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so that you don't miss any of our content. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We've got on this channel, your opportunity to engage with and talk with some of the biggest stars in the history of pro wrestling, right? Kurt Angle is here as a part of One True Sport. Rob Van Dam is a part of One True Sport. Arn Anderson, Medusa, the list goes on and on. Subscribe to our channel here so you don't miss anything. Also, if you want to become a One True Sport member, and hello to our members who are listening to this as an audio podcast, that's a perk of being a One True Sport member is you get this show and all the shows as audio podcasts. We got 3 different membership tiers that are up right now at onetruesport.com. All of them include access to those stars that I've talked about, but at different price points. So there's all sorts of ways for you to get your One True Sport and 1TS Daily fix. Also, onetruesport.com, we've got a merch store. A merch store that I think is one of the best. We got some really cool merch out there. We just dropped a new batch of stuff, including 1TS Daily merch. So for all of you who are fans of this show, get your 1TS Daily merch. But hey, enough about that. I got the live chat open for everybody who's tuning in live. Jump in there with your questions and your comments and your rants and your raves, whatever. Super chats are open as well. If you're willing and able to send us a super chat or a question or a comment, we'll make sure to get to it and bump it right up to the top of the list here of topics if you do submit via super chat. Cool. Okay, let's start off with talking quickly about last night's episode of TNA Impact. I gave TNA a bit of a hard time yesterday on the show here because you didn't know what they were going to do with their Bound for Glory main event. And my question yesterday was, is TNA going to TNA? Last night, the main event, Frankie Kazarian against Joe Hendry. Winner gets a shot at Nick Nemeth and the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory coming up next month. Look, I've seen TNA too much, a lot throughout the years, and I've seen them make some very goofy, some very, very goofy decisions when it comes to their booking. They didn't mess around yesterday. Thankfully, they weren't too cute. They weren't, overly reliant on the old guard like Frankie Kazarian. Joe Hendry gets the win. He's going to face Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory. It was refreshing to see TNA go this route. That's, he's their top guy, it's weird because I don't think he has the long-term viability or staying power. I think he's more of God, this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it to sound that way. But I think he's more of just a flash in the pan type pro wrestling gimmick. Like think Acclaimed from a couple years ago, like really, really hot, and then they kind of fall off. I think ultimately Joe Hendry is going to be the same type of thing. However, TNA is a unique company because you've got to strike while the iron's hot on those things. Because if for some reason Joe Hendry does become something, he's gone. Like he's not going to be around. You gotta, if you're TNA, you gotta hit on this stuff quick. And I've already thought that they've kind of waited too long on Joe Hendry, but this to me looks like, okay, they're going to go with it. They're going to have this moment. He's going to chase the title until Bound for Glory and then win the title at the biggest show, at their biggest show of the year. So thumbs up on what they did yesterday. I thought, again, TNA in my eyes is always a threat to TNA. And, with Joe Hendry, though, they've done a pretty nice job. I mean, he beat Josh Alexander, who's like, face of the company. And now, he moves on to the world title picture with Nick Nemeth. So we'll continue to watch this situation, but I thought it was an interesting turn of events, but also the absolute right way to book that show and to book the main event of Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year. So thumbs up, TNA. You didn't pull a TNA. You are learning from your past issues. But this should be fun. It should be a fun run. It's Bound for Glory. You got your biggest star, your biggest babyface challenging for the title. It should be a cool environment and cool build. So we'll continue to keep watch on that. That's TNA Impact from last night. Okay, a couple news elements that hit since we got off the air yesterday. Shane McMahon photographed with the Young Bucks at an airport. Reports indicate that it's coincidental. I just don't know. Now, I'm not saying that those reports are wrong or that they're, lying, but it seems to me that Shane McMahon has coincidentally been meeting a lot of AEW people at airports. I mean, he has the Tony Khan meeting that we know about. We know he's met Mercedes Moné at airport, and now he goes. He has a meeting. Not necessarily have a meeting, but he's photographed with the Young Bucks, and that's going to get the rumor mill churning as to whether or not Shane McMahon is primed for a run in AEW. Begs the question, and drop your notes in the live chat here. Do you want to see Shane McMahon in AEW? Like, they're teasing it. I take that back. They're not teasing it outright, but he's posing for these pictures with top, with a top AEW act like the Young Bucks. Like, what the feathers are going to get ruffled because of that. If you're Shane or the Young Bucks or whoever puts that out. So yeah, something interesting to watch, watching the Vince McMahon documentary. And we did over at Brass Ring Media, which is my shop. We did a long form chat and analysis. And that's our thing over at Brass Ring Media, long form analysis on current event based, pro wrestling stuff. And yesterday we did a long form analysis on the first 3 episodes of the Vince McMahon documentary. And one of the things we talked about was Shane and, early in the first episode, Vince talks about his dad, him not being sure whether or not his dad wanted him to succeed, and how he never heard that I love you from his dad until his dad was dying. And with Shane, it's like you see some of that similar relationship with Vince. And, it's one of those things where I don't know whether or not, or I think deep down, especially now that Vince isn't involved in WWE, that I think Vince would respect Shane if Shane would go and do this in AEW, make a move there, right? that there's a weird dynamic between the two of them. And there's a dynamic of Shane always working to try to impress his dad. So, when I see this documentary and I hear how Shane speaks about his father and how Vince speaks about business and about how Vince speaks about, doing anything for business and competing, Shane's not involved in WWE. So, I think there's a part of Vince that would be like, yeah, this is weird and crazy and unprecedented, but good for you, Shane, in a weird way. So sorry about the rant, but that just crossed my mind as I was watching the documentary, is that, if Shane's going to go to another company, that's something that I think Vince would appreciate, especially if it was to better Shane and better Shane's pocketbook. So yeah, interesting little nugget there. Okay, couple other news elements here. Saraya reportedly has re-signed with AEW. I don't know. I'm not too surprised to hear that, honestly. It's been a long time since she's been in WWE, and she still can't wrestle very often. And so I don't know what value she brings to WWE in that regard. I'm not sure what all the value that she brings to AEW at this point either, but at the very least, she can be a role player in AEW. She can talk, she can be a presence at ringside for matches. Like, she is definitely a role player. She's certainly not getting a Mercedes Moné contract, I'm sure. But this made sense to me when I heard it. I know, that the rumblings could be that, hey, she may be heading back to, WWE, but I just don't think she's got value. I don't think she has value there, especially with, who WWE is currently pushing, in the women's division. It's like, I'm in that locker room, she'd be like a low card act, I think, at this point in time. Andrew's in the chat. I got to put this up. He goes, she's awful. Tell us how you really feel, Andrew. Tell us how you really feel, sir. Thanks for being here, man. Also, yesterday, WWE announced they will be hosting the first ever 2-night SummerSlam from MetLife Stadium in 2025. So that's next year. That's August 2nd and August 3rd. So it's a Saturday and a Sunday. Hey, this is the world we live in these days. WWE wants to do these big weekends. TKO Group wants to do these big weekends. And this shows that they're doubling down on that. I mean, the 2-night WrestleMania was something that popped up during the pandemic. And, now they continued on with it. And it's a thing. It's a thing now. We know that they're going to be in Minnesota in 2026 for a 2-night SummerSlam. So it was, weird, like, to not have a 2025 announcement, but now we do. And it's out there, and it's New York. It's MetLife Stadium. They ran WrestleMania 35 there, 6 years ago. And so they're going back in a big way. As they do these like 2-night events, you got to bring it when it comes to a card perspective. Like, it's one thing to do a 2-night WrestleMania because that's such a big event, such an inherent following to it, cultural thing, big time. But you got to do that again with SummerSlam because you got to deliver two nights worth of top-notch level stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how they formulate a card. But yeah, 2025, 2-night SummerSlam. Let me scroll through my notes here to make sure I didn't miss anything. We got Saraya. We got to that. Yeah, all good on the news front. Yes, I was going to get into this a little bit, but decided not to. But Andrew says here, MetLife is not a fan-friendly stadium. No, it's not. I have got a story. Well, from a viewing standpoint, yes. but also from just like a logistics standpoint. I was there not for WrestleMania 35. Obviously, that show had its own problems. But even at WrestleMania 29, which was also at MetLife Stadium, I had taken a bus to the stadium from New York City, from Times Square, essentially. And bus dropped us off like a block away from the stadium. And we asked, like, hey, is this where we should go to get picked up? Bus driver says, yes, of course. Yeah, we'll meet you right here. So everybody on the bus goes back to that spot after the show. And we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait. And no bus. And now it's, at that time, the shows did end around 10 o'clock. This is before WWE Network or anything like that. So it's a true pay-per-view. So the show ended, 11 Eastern. And we're out there, no bus. So there's about 50 people waiting in the parking lot about a block away from MetLife Stadium. And we wait. We make calls. We're trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? Eventually, somebody, like, we had a security team drive out to us and wondering what we were doing. We told them, and they were like, hey, there's no buses left. They're not coming out here. So we had to trek it all the way to the subway. Didn't get home to the hotel until about 2 a.m. Eastern time. Crazy stuff. So yeah, they better get that together if you're going to have big events like this. That memory certainly is not one that's going to make me go, you know what? I want to go to MetLife Stadium. So yeah, they got to get that. Got to get that together and got to get that squared away. But yeah, Andrew, leaving the stadium is terrible. I can attest to that. So get it together, MetLife Stadium. Get it together. WWE. Talk to them. Talk to your business partners, huh? All right. Tonight, and we'll wrap up on this note, guys. We got SmackDown, and it's I don't know. I would call this a pretty flat SmackDown, to be completely honest. We've got Solo Sikoa making his return to SmackDown. Obviously, I think he's going to talk and sell and promote and hype the Bad Blood match with him and Fatu against Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. I think it's going to be a central part of this show is Solo's return to the company. We also have Bayley versus Naomi, and the winner will face Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. Andrade is going to wrestle Carmelo Hayes again, and then Michin will wrestle Piper Niven. So, yikes. I mean, not Carmelo Hayes and Andrade have delivered in the ring, all throughout their series of matches here. So that certainly is a match worth going out of your way to make sure you see tonight. But the rest of this is kind of yuck, like kind of a, I don't know, bit of a skippable show, if you ask me. I mean, Michin and Piper Niven, that's a, mid-card match. Bayley and Naomi, I mean, that's interesting in terms of the outcome, and who's going to get the title match. But, it's not terribly exciting either. And then Michin versus Piper Niven, or excuse me, the Solo Sikoa stuff is the biggest part of the story. And we just don't know exactly what he's going to do. So I'm sure we'll get some Cody Rhodes tonight. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get some stuff with LA Knight. But in terms of what they're promoting, this is a pretty quiet show. And with Bad Blood like a week away, you'd think that they'd beef this up a little bit more from a promotion perspective. Competition tonight, not a ton there. I mean, they'll have the WNBA playoffs to contend with, but not a Caitlin Clark game. College football obviously is going to be a thing to combat, but I don't believe the game tonight is anything of significance. So yeah, so it's a weird show, totally weird show, and kind of a quiet show. So maybe there'll be some kind of big angle. Again, Cody Rhodes is certain to be on the show, I'm sure, but to what end? Does he do something with Kevin Owens? Does he interrupt and get involved with the Solo Sikoa promo? both of the things are on the table. So we'll recap the entire show on Monday's episode of 1TS Daily right here at One True Sport. So you're not going to want to miss that. So be here on Monday. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Andrew says here, Miami against Virginia Tech. He says historically significant, but the Canes should roll. Okay, so that's historically significant game isn't anything to sneeze at. So well worth, or a good competition for SmackDown this week as to whether or not they can be in that number one slot and increase viewership week over week. So we'll see how it goes. Man, guys, that'll do it. A bit of a quiet Friday. Thanks so much for being here today. Thanks so much for being here for the week. Listen, you can check more out from me at Brass Ring Media. As I mentioned at the top of the show, that is our shop, my shop. We've got a great team of people that work over there. Our style and our niche in this wrestling journalism space is long form analysis. So you can find our long form shows on the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel. You can find that right now. Go there, subscribe, check out yesterday's show. We did a ton on AEW Grand Slam. We also touched on the Vince documentary as well. So don't miss that. We have a Brass Ring Media Substack newsletter that gets updated daily with show reviews and features and editorials from me and my team. Don't miss that. Totally free to subscribe there. Just search Brass Ring Media and Substack, and you'll get that content right to your inbox every single day. And we also have Patreon membership. We have a membership tier. It's only $4 a month, and you get full access to everything that we do. So members get a member-only podcast once a week, all of our PLE and pay-per-view review shows, full access to the newsletter, access to Discord and our Discord member community, which is a blast. And then of course, other specialty shows that come up along the way, specialty content. So check us out. It's $4. That's it. Patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. You can try us out for a week for free, totally free, no strings attached. Just try us out. We did a long form, full 45 minutes on the first 3 episodes of the Vince McMahon documentary. Highly recommend. It was a fun show to do, and hopefully you guys enjoy checking it out. So once again, that's patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. Thanks so much to Andrew and Time Child for being in the chat today. Thanks to everybody else who tuned in live. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back Monday and all next week right here at 1TS Daily. Enjoy your Friday, and we'll talk to you guys really soon. See ya.